Today I want to talk about the 10 reasons why Krakow is the best place to live. So I have traveled around the world a lot. I spent a lot of time in Latin America. I was in Asia for a few months, and now I'm here in Europe. I've explored a lot of European cities, but I have to say that Krakow is one of the best places to live. It's an extremely safe city. Safety has become increasingly important for me as I get older because I lived in Colombia, which, to be honest, is a very unsafe society. You're constantly having to worry about people stealing from you, not looking too fancy or becoming a target. Here in Poland, you don't have to worry about any of that. Violent crime is almost non-existent. People here don't even really steal that much. One of my friends dropped her phone in the city center and she was able to recover it because somebody picked it off the ground and returned it to one of the local restaurants. That's just how people are here. Women always tell me that you can walk around at 2 or 3 in the morning here. Yeah, maybe there's some chance of something happening, but women do it all the time because they honestly feel so safe here. It is a very walkable and bikeable city. One of the best investments that I made was buying a bike. I can get almost anywhere in the city because Krakow is relatively small. Most people will spend most of their time around the city center. One of the best parts of Krakow is being able to bike around everywhere. Because most of the city is flat, you can go pretty much anywhere by bike, which is very, very nice. So most days I walk and I bike way more than I ever did back when I was living in the US. I live a little bit outside of the city center in this place called Shed Co-Living, which I highly recommend. If you want to see a tour of my apartment, you can watch this video right here. When people go out at night and do most activities, it's gonna be around the river and Old Town. And I love how I can get anywhere in the city in 20 minutes or less. Public transportation here is fantastic. Trams will get you to most places that you need to go. There's also a pretty comprehensive bus system. You could also Uber and Bolt to places that you need to go, but honestly, it can kind of add up even though it's not as expensive as some places in Western Europe. Most people that I know walk around everywhere, and once you kind of get used to the distances of everything, it's very enjoyable. Please give the video a like and consider subscribing if you enjoy this content. Krakow has a perfect balance of city and nature. When you walk around Old Town, you can see a lot of the beautiful old architecture. There's not a lot of really tall buildings here. For example, in a place like Warsaw. Warsaw is a lot more developed and you're gonna see a lot of tall buildings, but here, I don't know if there's a city ordinance or something, but the tallest buildings that I've seen have been the student dorms. But when you look into the city, there's nothing really higher than the local landmarks. So you still kind of get that old European feel. Next to the castle, there's a beautiful river which you can walk along. There's also a really famous lake that you can spend time here. And there's just a bunch of beautiful parks everywhere in the city where you can just sit and enjoy the beautiful nature that Krakow has to offer. So because there's so much nature here, there's also a very big fitness culture here in Krakow. I don't know if this is common all through Poland, but specifically here in this city, you're always gonna see people biking, skating, walking, running, playing football, playing volleyball. Because the weather is so good here during the summer, people are just always out doing things. And that also adds to why the women here are so attractive. I made a separate video talking about Polish women and why I love them so much, so make sure to check that out after watching this video. I also really love European architecture in general. I wouldn't say the architecture in Poland is as nice as some of the Western European countries, but I still think it is quite beautiful. It's quite a good mix of old and modern. Something I love about European cities is how much they focus on the beauty of the design and architecture of the city. That's why it's so common for people to go out on a sunny day and just sit by the river and chill. There are so many beautiful places to do that here in Europe. Krakow is no different. Something that makes Krakow very unique compared to other Polish cities, there's a very strong international population here. It's the #1 tourist city in Poland. There's a lot of people living here who are also international. So I think the locals have just grown accustomed to seeing people from other countries. And a lot of other places in Poland, they are still more traditional, and I don't know if racist is the right word, but they just have not seen a lot of people from other countries. Seeing a black person or an Asian person for them is totally new. And because there's a huge international population here, it's very easy to make friends with people from other countries. If you want to make Polish friends, that takes a lot more work because the culture for them meeting people is a lot different. They tend to be a lot more closed off. But if you want to meet other people who are also living here for work or whatever, Krakow is the best place to do it. There's also a lot of international students studying here. There's a lot of very good international food as well. The Indian and Viet food is surprisingly good here. Italian food, pizza is quite good here as well. So you can get a little bit of everything, which is nice. If you guys are thinking about relocating to anywhere in the world, whether it be Latin America, Southeast Asia, or here in Europe, feel free to reach out to me with any questions you may have. If you are stuck on this question, I highly recommend scheduling a consultation with me. We can identify what your needs are and which place in the world will be best for you. One of the best things about this place is that it's still relatively cheap as well compared to a lot of places in Western Europe. It seems like everywhere in the world is getting a lot more expensive. Even though Poland may be a lot more expensive than it was 4 or 5 years ago, it's still quite affordable. I think a good budget for most people will be around $1,200 to $1,300 a month to around $2,000. I think personally I'm spending around $1,200 to $1,300 depending on what I do. If I really budget, I can get by with maybe $1,000 a month. As an Asian person, I like that we are treated super well here, but I think that just goes back to the huge international presence. I think an argument can be made that foreigners from other places in the world, for example, Arabs or black people, may get treated differently. Talking to my friends of other races, they say that in general, Polish people have treated them quite well and are curious about other cultures. I also like that Krakow has a very good central location. If you want to travel to other places in Europe, Krakow is literally right in the middle of Europe. So it's a very great destination if you travel quite frequently to other places in Europe. And flights here, from what I've seen, are not that expensive either. And I also really like that Krakow is a developing city. Yes, it is very tourist-sized. When it comes to people who are living here in general infrastructure, it's still on the rise. I enjoy being a part of cities like this, and that's why I really liked Vietnam as well. In a developing city, the people and the overall mentality of the population is like, okay, we're always going forward, and I think they still have a good balance of traditional roles, but they are also quite progressive. As a YouTuber and someone who's looking to potentially invest in real estate in the future, developing cities are the best place to do it. For example, I was in Colombia for a few years, and when I first arrived in Medellin, things were cheaper. It was still quite hush-hush, but now that the word is out, the real estate market has exploded. Prices are getting more ridiculous by the day, and the secret is out now, so the vibe is completely different. Krakow is still a little low-key compared to maybe a place like Warsaw. Maybe you can say that Poland in general is still low-key, but I have to say that my time here has been quite excellent. Poland is an excellent place to live, especially if you're earning foreign currency. The women here are gorgeous, and you don't really see it a lot during winter because it feels like a lot of them go into hiding. But during the summer, when everybody's out with their families and you go to the lake and people are in their bathing suits, Slavic women are really hot and Polish women are no different. They are also a lot more relationship oriented. They have strong family values, which are things that I really appreciate. If you're looking for something serious and long-term, Polish women may be a very good option. However, you have to keep in mind that if you're only here for a couple of months, a lot of Polish girls would not be interested in that. And because they're so familiar with foreigners, being a foreigner may not give you a leg up or advantage as opposed to other places in the world. Please give the video a like and consider subscribing. It gives me a better idea of what kind of videos you guys would like to see in the future. These are some of the reasons why I love Krakow so much. Do you guys agree? Do you guys disagree? Let me know down below. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.